The Haunting Curse of the Gypsy. The sun hung low in the sky, casting eerie shadows over the cracked pavement of a bustling city street. At the corner, an old gypsy woman sat, her weathered face barely illuminated beneath the brim of her tattered shawl. She held a small cup in her calloused hands, eyes filled with haunting stories of a life once vibrant. Yet the city had turned its back on her, a ghost lingering among the living, as people passed by without a thought. But today would be different. A bully named Rex prowled these streets, his laughter echoing like a dark omen. Spotting the old woman, he approached with a wicked grin, the kind that made innocent souls shudder. "Get a job, you hag," he sneered, knocking the cup from her hands, the coins scattering like fallen leaves. The old woman stumbled, hitting the ground hard, but Rex's laughter was a cruel symphony, drowning out the sound of her pain. As he turned to walk away, the gypsy drew a deep breath and uttered a curse, her voice trembling but resolute, a dark incantation that sliced through the air like a knife. From coast to coast, you will see the thing you fear the most. Haunting visions in your sight, closing your eyes will hide the fright, but until your eyes open again, this will go on until your sight ends. Rex chuckled dismissively, shrugging off her words as he swaggered away, confident he'd escaped unscathed. Later that evening, Rex returned home, still chuckling at the day's antics. His girlfriend Liz greeted him with a sandwich, but as he looked at it, horror washed over him. "What the hell? This is covered in maggots!" he yelled, recoiling in disgust. Liz frowned, rolling her eyes. "You're just seeing things, Rex. There's nothing wrong with it. You must be high or something. I'm leaving for my trip now. See you when I get back." With a slam of the door, Liz vacated the apartment, leaving Rex alone with his paranoia. But as the door clicked shut, the silence felt oppressive. He glanced around, heart racing. The maggots he thought were a delusion were everywhere, crawling on his sofa, oozing from the refrigerator, infesting every corner of his space. The horror unveiled itself like a nightmare come to life. Panicking, he ran to his bedroom, but the scene was worse than he imagined. Maggots covered his bed, squirming like a living, pulsing mass. "How will I sleep tonight?" he gasped, his mind racing. Desperately, he bolted to the bathroom, staring into the mirror. What he saw made his blood run cold, maggots crawling across his face, burrowing into his skin. He screamed, the echoes of his fear filling the room until he shut his eyes tight, squeezing against the horror. In the darkness, the sound of squirming faded, but the weight of dread hung heavy. The old woman's words echoed in his mind. "Closing your eyes will hide the fright." Rex opened his eyes, desperate for solace, but the world around him had transformed into a grotesque nightmare. The phone sat on the table, covered entirely in maggots. "I just need help," he whimpered, but the door loomed before him, a barrier clothed in writhing creatures, sealing him inside a prison of horror. Time passed, endlessly stretching in his mind. Just as he began to lose hope, Liz returned, her face a canvas of excitement. But the moment she stepped inside, her enthusiasm turned to terror. Rex lay unconscious on the floor, blood smeared across his face, fingers gripping his own eyes as if trying to peel back the horrors hidden within. She screamed, a sound that shattered the silence, and quickly dialed 911. As sirens wailed in the distance, Liz bent down to Rex, but the moment their eyes met, she realized there were no maggots in sight. Confused, she looked back at Rex, wishing to shake him from his nightmare, but what lay before her was a new hell. Rex, lost to his madness, a mind shattered by the curse of a gypsy woman. The ambulance arrived, but the damage was done. Rex was committed to an asylum, a shell of the man he used to be, trapped in an eternal nightmare filled with the very things he feared. And as the doors of his cell clanged shut, whispering shadows danced in the corners, the spirit of the old gypsy woman watching over her dark handiwork. In the stillness of the night, she whispered to the wind, "Until your sight ends. Until your sight ends." Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more spine-tingling tales.